Are you looking to purchase a property in the Toronto real estate market and trying to identify which property might be a good deal, or perhaps which seller might be willing to negotiate below the listed price? I am going to tell you 3 tips that I use myself when looking for clients to identify great deals for them. Hi, my name is Larissa and I'm a Toronto-based real estate agent. I specialize in helping first-time homebuyers get into the market, as well as helping investors find places that people actually want to live in. If you enjoy this video, please click like and subscribe to my channel for other informational videos like this one. And you can also book a call with me using the calendar link below if you have any real estate questions or questions about the Toronto market. I am more than happy to help. Now, let's dive right into this topic, and this is an exciting topic for me because I really think it is such a good opportunity right now to be a buyer in Toronto's market. Maybe you're a seller, so maybe you're watching this video to learn what not to do, and that is good as well. Now, when I'm looking for my clients right now, especially first-time buyers, people have more of a limited budget, so every dollar counts, and that's why I like to use these tips to try to find options for them that may be willing to negotiate on price. I recently saw a home, maybe not for a first-time buyer, but I saw a home sell for $300K under the listed price within just a month or so, which is an amazing deal. And truly, I think a lot of people look at the price, they think that's what the seller wants and that's it, but there is room for negotiation. And I want to tell you which properties you're going to have a higher chance of negotiating on, okay? So without further ado, let's jump into my tips. The first one I would say to use to your advantage is the days on market. So what's days on market? This is how long a property has been listed on the MLS system, okay? So if you're looking in a specific market, let's say you're looking for condos downtown, and you know the average condo downtown right now is selling for 30 days. I'm just making this up, it really does depend, but let's just say the average is 30 days. You see a condo that's been on the market for 4 days. They may be a little less willing to negotiate than if they've been on the market for 60 days, right? So if something has been on the market well beyond the typical days on market for that specific segment, property segment, so for example, a condo versus a house, very different, then you may have more wiggle room, okay? Now, one thing to keep in mind is when you are looking at properties, if you see something has been on the market for a week, let's say, you're gonna wanna double check or have your realtor double check that that property has not been previously listed. So what we do see sometimes is that a property was listed, let's say May 1st, it sat on the market all the way till August 1st, then they terminated that listing, they relisted it, perhaps at a new price, or they changed photos, they changed the description. So to the average consumer, you think it's only been up in August, but it's actually been up for months, okay? So you're gonna wanna look at the property history. You can also see this on sites like House Sigma or the listed app. They do show you the property history and when it's listed. So that's another pro tip is with days on market, make sure it is the true days on market and not just a new listing, because that can sometimes fool you. So days on market is the first one. Again, you're gonna wanna know what the average is for a specific area and property type, which again, your realtor can tell you, or you can look as well yourself on the TREB website, okay? So that's tip number 1. Now tip number 2 is you're going to wanna look at the history of a property and when it was purchased. So let's say hypothetically you're looking at a condo that is listed for $600,000. If that condo was purchased by the seller 4 years ago for $589,000, they're not going to have as much wiggle room when it comes to negotiation as someone who might have purchased it 10 years ago for $450,000. So you're going to want to look at when a property was purchased and for how much, and you're also going to want to go back to that listing and see if there's any work that has been done to the property. So if somebody purchased it for $450,000, they did nothing to the property since owning it, maybe, you know, minor paint, things like that, but overall kitchen, bathrooms, everything looks the same, then they're gonna have more wiggle room than somebody who completely renovated this property with new floors, new bathroom, new kitchen, right? So you're gonna wanna look at when that property was purchased and what they've done to it since owning. And this is gonna give you an indication of how much wiggle room a seller might have. Now, of course, I should say there's caveats to this. Somebody might have purchased it for $600,000, put a ton of work into it, and is in a really tough financial spot. So they might take $550,000, but this is just generally speaking, this is kind of what I'm typically seeing. Of course, there's gonna be those one-case scenarios here and there, but this is what I would look at mostly. Now, the third thing that you're gonna wanna look at is what we call a price change. So if a property has had a price change, this is sometimes indicated by the property terminating and relisting at the new price, or an agent might just do a simple price change to the current listing. So they leave the listing up. This is identified by a code we call PC. So if you see PC, or you see that the original list price was $600,000, it's now been taken down to, let's say, $579. This also tells me that a seller is quite motivated, because if, let's say, they were holding out firm for their $600,000 on their condominium, they would just wait. They would wait, and if the property's on the market, it exceeds the average days on market, they might decide, you know what, I'm not getting my price, I'm gonna rent it out, I'm gonna take it off the market and try again in the spring. They might make minor adjustments like that, right? They don't have to sell, so they're not as motivated. However, when I see a price change on a property, this tells me that this person does want to sell. They are serious about selling. They're realizing that their expectations on price and the market are not aligned, and they're trying to get them in alignment, okay? So that would tell me that there's probably further room for a negotiation. There's further room on the price. And so this is something that you can use to your advantage when you're looking as well. Just look at options that have had price changes, or make sure you're looking at the history of a property to see if there has been a price change. Now, I'm gonna show you an example of some of these things. I'm going to tell you in advance that I will not share the property address because it is not my listing, but it is a really great example of a property that is currently listed for sale that has had price changes. It has had many days on market, more than the average for sure. And we're gonna look at the property history to kind of tell us whether or not the seller might be more motivated to be flexible on price, okay? So let me just show this to you. Bear with me here. Awesome. Okay, so you can see here, this is the history, believe it or not, from 2023 till now. So each line identifies a change in this property. I will tell you this is a semi-detached home in downtown Toronto, and we'll go through it together. So the very bottom line you're gonna see there is when this property was purchased by the current seller, okay? So this property is currently for sale on the market, it has not sold. So they purchased this property in September of 2023 for $870,000. Now, if I was not trying to conceal the identity and the address of this home, I would actually click on that line, because I'll be able to go back and see when they purchased it for $870,000, what they purchased. And this is really important because this semi was a complete gut job. When they purchased it, it was a hot mess. It was not even habitable, I don't think. So they brought it back down to the studs. They put in a new kitchen, bathroom, layout, mechanicals, AC furnace, backyard, like everything has been done in this home, okay? So by using that knowledge, so going back and seeing when this was purchased for and the work they've done, we can kind of understand that they're not going to take under $870,000, and they probably won't even take $1 million, because they've put hundreds of thousands of dollars into this home, okay? So they completed the home, they listed in May. They listed in May of this year, so they finished the home in about a year and a half. They actually less than a year, sorry, my calculations are off there. So they purchased this September 2023, and then they listed it in the spring. So they've done this renovation actually quite quickly, but it is a smaller home. So they came out on the market in May in the spring market for 1.5, okay? They did not sell. Since then, they have done so many changes to this listing. They weren't selling at 1.5, so you can see then they listed it the next day, actually. So strategy's a little off, but they listed the next day for 1.1, and they tried to hold what we call an offer day, where you list low and then you take all offers about a week later. However, that didn't work. They didn't sell. I don't know if they got any offers, but they didn't sell for whatever reason. So then they, June 5th, decided to terminate the listing at that price, and then they relisted it at 1.489, so a little under 1.5. Okay, obviously that wasn't getting them enough traffic, so they dropped the price by $100K about a week later. Then they terminated that listing about just over a week, almost 2 weeks after that, and then they listed at $999, and they tried to have an offer day again. Obviously that didn't work, so they came back out at 1.3. So now you can see, like, we've gone from 1.5 to 1.3 in a couple months time. Okay, finally today they're sitting on the market at $999 with an offer day. The offer day is sometime this week, but before that they were looking for 1.25. So they've come down quite a bit. Now, I want to talk with this because if you were an average consumer, so you weren't looking at this back end and you were just on realtor.ca, you would see this property at $999. And then once you were educated that it's not actually going to sell for $999, but it has an offer day, you might think as a consumer, at least I would, not as a realtor, I would think these people want much more than $999. Everything is brand new. They've done a lot of work to this property. Maybe they want 1.3, maybe they want 1.4, when actually they only want 1.25, and they probably will get under that because obviously it wasn't selling at that price. So already you can use this history to give you kind of a leg up on the competition, to understand what it is the seller is looking for, and to also identify that they purchased this property for $870. So it's very unlikely that they are going to sell it for much under, $999, because obviously they are looking to make some money back, right? So long story short, this is an example of when you can use the looking at when they purchased it and how much work they put in, and then you can also identify that they have had price changes, right, throughout this. But they've also been terminating it and coming back to market. So when using days on market, you're gonna think it just listed August 20th, it's been up for 6 days. However, it's actually been up since May. So days on market, you gotta go back in and you gotta look at this history. Now, where do you find history like this? Well, if you are using an app like House Sigma, or you're using Listed, or if you're just simply working with a realtor, this is something we see on our back end quite easily. And this is something that I am using for my own clients right now when looking to see whether or not there might be some wiggle room on a property or not. And then of course, doing some other things too to identify that, like reaching out to the listing agent. But this is kind of the example that I want to show you, that you can use the information to your advantage to find a good deal in today's market. And this is just a simple way that you can do it a couple of different ways and methods, but there's a lot more out there. So needless to say, if you're looking for a deal, I hope that this has been helpful to you. Even if you are listing your property, I think that this gives you a good idea of not what to do, but just, what buyers and realtors are looking for. So, if you are going to sell your home today, you need to be realistic on price point, because once you come out, you list too high, you start doing those price changes, that's when buyers are going to come in and they're going to be sending you those lower offers than what you're looking to receive. So if you can list it at a more accurate price point out the gate, it's going to help you. If you have any questions again about the Toronto real estate market, or you are looking for a deal, or you want me to send you some examples like this house that are sitting on the market, a really great opportunity, but not everybody knows about, feel free to reach out to me. You can also book a call with me using the Calendly link below, and I do hope that we will have some time to chat again. Enjoy your day, and we'll talk to you soon.